Do 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 do
Hi guys. This is why we need a theme song.
March.
I've been trying to get you to do a theme song. You want to do a theme song? That's why 5-0, by the way. So
Yeah,
it's a good theme song.
I'm aware.
It's a good theme song. March 25th, review episode.
And this will be the final review episode for a while.
No,
We're going to quote unquote foreseeable future.
No, we're going to continue recording. We have some fun things planned, but
which we're going to announce in the previews episode, because we're going to record a previews episode, even though there's no new comics coming out.
You interrupt me every time I talk. Yes. I was not going to say, "Hey, this is what we're doing right now," but I was going to say, "Hey, we're going to do a thing." I didn't say where the thing was going to be. Just building anticipation for what the thing is going to be. See?
No one's building anticipation for
building
your thing.
Anticipation.
Calm down.
Building anticipation.
This is where you do the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing.
I don't do that.
I was waiting for you to say anymore.
There's
I don't do that anymore.
Didn't say that either. Just said, don't do that. I'm not doing it. How about that?
We might do it.
How about that? No. Nobody wants to see me with red lipstick. Nobody. First of all, I don't have chicken lips anyway.
All right.
That's number one.
All of you out there who want to see Garen in red lipstick, please comment on the video on YouTube. Hashtag Garen with pearly red lips.
Pearly?
Yeah. I don't know. It just came out.
I don't know what that meant either. Okay.
Don't worry about it. They know.
Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
None of this matters anymore.
So we can do this thing.
Let's just go watch TV. Oh, yeah, I quit. I'm going home. Hey, guys. We've already made a fool of ourselves on YouTube, and we're here to record our March 25th review episode. I'm David.
And I'm Garen.
So let's dive right in and do this printed panel podcast thing.
But apparently we have to do it in reverse order because someone didn't want to put the books back where they belonged. So, fine, we'll do it in reverse order. So let's start at the end. The end being X-Men Fantastic Four #3. Chip Zdarsky, Terry Dodson. Great book. You get more. So
I still find Reed Richards acting out of character. Doom is Doom. Doom fits. Wolverine's Wolverine. Wolverine fits. Magneto's Magneto. Magneto fits. And for the first time, Sue Storm is acting like Sue Storm, but Reed still isn't acting like Reed.
He's got a secret he's trying to protect.
Yeah, and I don't understand.
And it's clear.
Did he depower Franklin?
Yes.
He depowered Franklin at some point.
He depowered his son because he was afraid of what was going to happen. He saw a future version of his son, and he said, I can't let this happen. I don't know what he saw, and my guess is he'll be revealed in issue 4. That's my guess. But Doom is like, listen, I'm not... He says, well, listen, when we need our children back, he's like, your children matter more to me than anything else in the world.
And Doom absolutely loves Franklin and Valeria.
They're his niece and nephew to him, so he literally would not hurt them at all, and he wants to save Franklin from dying, because essentially that's what he sees.
And every once in a while tags in a bitch slap on Reed, like, let somebody who's your superior handle this.
That would be me, Doom. So, great book, and of course... What do they instantly do they're not supposed to do? They're told, do not go on the island. Do not interact with my people.
With his mutants.
His mutants.
The Latvarian mutants.
Do not interact with them. They're fine. Don't worry about it. And, of course, what do? They do it anyway.
And Wolverine ends up killing one of them.
And ends up killing it. He thinks it's a Doom bot. And actually, it's a mutant.
Yeah.
And the Doom Sentinels would be here.
Yeah, Doom Sentinels are pretty great.
It's like,
although I also feel that's a little out of character for Doom. Because I don't think Doom is a bigot. I don't think he. I don't
think that's it at all. I think Doom is like, listen, you're gonna mess with me, fine, mess with me, but I promise you, it'll be tit for tat. It'll be equal measure, and this is equal measure in his mind.
No. I just don't see him building Sentinels. I think he would look at the Sentinels.
He just repurposed the Sentinels in his colors. That's all.
X-Men. He really did their green. X-Men #9. I fell in love with the X-Men in X-Men Classic on the original Brood storylines, and it is so nostalgic to read through X-Men right now.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had a big Brood storyline. It's been many
with the exception
years.
of Brew.
Well, but Brew is a Brood alien. He's a Brood mutant, so...
And he's just the cutest little guy.
He is too. He's super smart. I mean, he's super intelligent. He's actually a genius. And it's like so they go into space to bring the king egg back.
Because, well, no, they go into space to get the king egg the hell away from Earth.
Well, that's part of
it. Because it was on Krakoa and the Brood were coming from it.
Right.
And one of the accusers is basically torturing the Corsairs.
Yeah.
Trying to find out what they did with this egg.
They don't know where it is. They really don't know because they're like, I don't know what happened to it. It was on our ship. Now it's gone.
And you find out that the Kree have been using the king egg to control the Brood and direct them as a weapon.
For a really, really long time.
For millennia.
Yeah, because it's essentially...
it's a new origin for the Brood.
Yeah, we never really truly understood the origin of the Brood, but now we get it. They were big originally, and then the Kree were like, hey, listen, this is a new weapon for us. What do we do? Okay, well, basically the queens control everything, so let's create this king egg that's got all the pheromones, and the king egg is in place, we can control the Brood.
And so basically...
Because the king egg was lost at some point.
Scott, Vulcan, Havoc, Psylocke.
Yeah, it's like
the weirdest combination.
Family.
Yeah. Maybe Jean's there. I think Jean's there.
Yeah.
They're running.
Wolverine this time.
And or maybe Psylocke's not there. Maybe I got that wrong. But anyway, they're running, and the Brew whales that they've infested are catching them, and there's more coming toward them, and they go toward Corsair ship, which has been hijacked by the Kree.
Yeah.
And
by Gladiator, specifically.
And they have the egg, and they crash land on this planet with Gladiator and all of the Corsairs and all of the X-Men that are there and Brew. And as the Brood are coming in to destroy them, Brew just...
But essentially they have an attack, and finally they just stop. All the Brood stop, and why'd they stop? They look over at Brew, and he's like, I was hungry. And
he had eaten the king egg.
He's eaten the king egg. And
which makes him the king.
Which makes him the king. So
because when Brood eats something, they take its genetics, its knowledge, everything.
Right.
So Brew is now the king Brood.
It's pretty great.
It's amazing. That is amazing. One of the best issues I read of the week. Maybe my favorite book of the week.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like after knowing what I do about the X-Men, I do feel like this is going to surprise me. Vulcan, did he hold back? He is beyond an Omega level mutant to me. He is extremely powerful. So the fact that he can just wipe out several of those whales, that surprised me. But I feel like they're holding him back for some reason. Wolverine.
Number two.
Whoa. It's interesting. So we know that the flowers are being hijacked. We know that the Pale Lady's doing it. We don't know who she is at this point. Mm-hmm. So Wolverine, of course, kills everybody in his sight, including Jean. Of course, Jean comes back, obviously, with the resurrection protocols.
But this is Wolverine's nightmare. Like, he's not Old Man Logan, who's gone through this before, but he knows Old Man Logan's story.
Right.
And he basically pulls an Old Man Logan, kills Iceman, kills Jean.
Under the control of somebody else, though.
Right.
Someone who's driven him nuts.
Which is what happened with Mysterio.
Right. So this is, and of course he looks at Scott, he's like, I'm so sorry about Jeannie. And Scott just looks at him and just walks away. It's like, what am I supposed to say to you? You need to control yourself. But then, of course, he teams up with a CIA agent who's trying to save his own daughter.
Who's basically the Big Lebowski.
He is Big Lebowski. Yeah, he's the dude. Trying to save his daughter, and, of course, that's not working. So, interesting story.
He stabs him.
Through the chest.
Yeah, as he floats away in the boat.
Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 2. Setting continuity for regular Star Wars and Darth Vader right now. This is not anything to do with Boba Fett. This is all balance, right?
Balance.
Yeah. All about his story and the one person they've all been sent to find.
And Bosk. Bosk is
Bosk
in
is
a little
bit.
Yeah. And Bosk was the whole thing for me. I love Bosk.
Well, that's one of those characters we've never gotten to do anything.
Trandoshans are amazing.
Trandoshan. Well, we literally never gotten to see anything with him. So, anyway. Road to Empire, the Kree Skull War, number 1. Technically, it's issue 0. It's issue 0. Kelly Thompson did this one. So this is basically talking about the Skrulls who are on the Earth. If you've read Meet the Skrulls, you would know that these Skrulls have been positioned there for a long time. They're essentially there to observe and see what's going on. Well, the Kree go and find them and kill them. They think they killed them. The Skrulls don't go and find them. The father's dead. It's got the mom and the 3 daughters. Well, as they're going to do this mission, they talk about why or what happened with the Skrulls and the Kree originally, and how the Skrulls were peaceful for a very long time. Their emperor went out and seeded planets and basically said, "Hey, listen, I'll trade you my technology if you'll just join my empire. We don't have to do anything special. Just join the empire." Well, he finds the Kree, and he says, "This is a warlike race that has one part of the planet is these plant people. The other part is the Kree, the plant." And he basically sets they've been battling for eons who controls the planet. So what he does is he gives them a choice. He says, "I'm going to give the plant people a chance to create their own perfect society." Same thing with the Kree. Gives them their own moon. Gives them technology. Well, he comes back, and the plant people have created this paradise, this beautiful, amazing paradise, where the Kree have done this amazing job with this technological thing, and they wind up taking over. And so that's kind of what begins the Skrull Kree fight. We knew the story already. Essentially, what they're doing now is they're looking for the Celestial Messiah. We know the Celestial Madonna. We know about her daughter, or her son. We know about these things. These are things that already happened. This is kind of a catch-up for all those things. So if you don't know these events, this is a good catch-up. It's very simple.
I don't know those events, and it was almost impossible for me to enjoy. I put it down about halfway through and said,
I enjoyed it because I've read these things before.
I want my $4.99 back.
Anyway, Punisher Soviet number 6. Fantastic run. Punisher is as vicious and nasty as it possibly can be. It's almost anticlimactic. I expected more people being blown up and more shooting, but he didn't. There was not much shooting going on. He did kill the kids and winds up getting the Russian oligarch to skin the senator alive, which is pretty great. So,
like you do.
Like you do. So,
Mortal Hulk 750 or number 33, depending on how you want to look at it.
Pretty sure they can go back to legacy numbering. I think they are. Yeah.
Well, Immortal Hulk shouldn't be legacy numbering. Because
no, you're right, because it's not
Incredible Hulk.
But Hulk is the legacy. That's the thing. So it doesn't matter if it's immortal, incredible, indestructible, sensational. It doesn't matter. It's all.
Zimnu got smacked down. Watching Childlike Hulk, the original Hulk, and that's who that was. That was the original Hulk. Tear his way out of Banner. And the creepy...
No one got surprised when they're only watching him. Like, that's fine. He's done it before. What?
The creepy artwork that represented the mindscape of Banner was absolutely 100% perfect. I didn't like it. Like, it's not my typical comic art. But it was
supposed to be like...
But that was the inside of Banner's head.
Yeah. And so basically the thing is, Hulk... He's with Gladiator Hulk, who is a smart Hulk. And he's like... The World War Z Hulk, and he's World War Hulk, and Planet Hulk, and he's like, listen, you can't just take things out. I've been trying to kill this guy for a long time. I can't do it. And he says, well, Hulk smash, and of course he smashes this TV that Bruce is watching, and of course he realizes by smashing the TV, that's the way to Bruce's head.
Meanwhile, Sakaar Hulk walks over and punches Demon Hulk as he's got him all bound up.
Yeah, this
was a different looking Hulk too. I've never seen that version of the Hulk.
I think there's Hulks in there that if you really looked at it, there's Hulks in there all over the place, and you're like, which Hulk is that one? He looks at
which is funny because they've done that for Wolverine lately too,
right?
And it's like there's all these different Wolverines in Wolverine's head.
Well, if you look at there has been, because Wolverine has been so many different personas, from Patch to Weapon X to whatever.
Yep.
I think the interesting part for me was looking at Joe Fixit,
who's a puny little human dude.
Yep. Because the Joe Fixit part is gone. The Gray Hulk is gone. Where's the Gray Hulk? There's more to the story, people. More to the story. So,
and the leader's been controlling.
Oh, I know the leader's been. So that's the one thing. So Rick is there.
Rick Jones is not Rick Jones. No. It's actually the leader.
But I think we knew it wasn't Rick Jones already. We just didn't know who it was. We're like, who is this guy? Rick Jones, man. Man, it's been fantastic.
Hellions #1.
Great book. So, just when you think Sinister can't get weirder and sillier,
this is Sinister's team, and they actually go at the fact that they can't call themselves the Marauders because Kate Pryde got too big for her britches and stole it.
Yeah.
The whole premise is that there are mutants on Krakoa who are too chaotic to be controlled.
Not just chaotic. I mean, look at Manny by himself. I mean, he's the one who basically can control reality. Empath. He's he can. Well, Manny's his name, but yeah. So yeah, control reality. I mean, he's creepy as hell. I mean,
he's basically a sociopath, as it explains in the book, and it does give an origin story for Wild Child, for Nanny and Orphan. For the dude with a gun.
It doesn't do anything for Orphan Maker, but I actually do a little deep dive on Orphan Maker because it's been a long time since I read any of the early
Kevin.
Yeah, any of the early stuff that Sinister was doing. Of course, Orphan Maker was in this institute that they're going to invade. Yeah, so basically the whole point is Sinister volunteers to make them his team. These are the enforcers. These are the ones behind the scenes. Not going to see anything about. They'll go do special missions, essentially Suicide Squad missions.
And Cyclops sends Quanon, Psylocke.
Sends Psylocke to, you know what? Why don't you keep...
Because she could kill anyone.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the similarities, but this is Task Force X.
Yeah.
And, it's Quanon instead of...
Harley?
No, not Harley, but...
Deathstroke?
No, it's Sword Woman.
Katana,
yeah. So this is a little crazier. There's no bombs in their heads, so that's kind of good.
Metaphorically, there may be.
Well, there may be. So
empaths go messing people up, and Havoc, because Havoc keeps losing his mind.
Yeah, Havoc's only in this because he can't control himself, not because he's bad or anything like that. Or
from Axis.
Yeah,
exactly. This is actually an Axis holdover where his head's been twisted so many times
by so many different people.
Yeah,
including Magneto and everybody else, and Xavier, and so he almost loses it, almost kills humans, and Wolverine has to literally pull him back and stop him.
Vulcan is no longer the crazy Summers brother.
I do feel bad for him, though, because Alex is a good guy. It's just...
Alex has been a dick for years.
Anyway. But my favorite part is the very end when we see... Madeline Pryor. You were going to talk about Madeline Pryor at the very end?
I wasn't that excited for Madeline Pryor.
She's awesome.
She's hot.
Well, that's... Part of being awesome. It's part of being awesome.
Nah, you can be ugly and still awesome. Giant Size X-Men #1, Nightcrawler, whatever. Total money grab.
Yeah, this was a completely unnecessary book.
So, one of the things they're doing with Giant Size X-Men is they're creating new threads, and so this created a thread.
It was an annual. That's all it is. It was an annual.
Yeah.
Without calling it an annual, it's an annual.
They created a thread. Well, and it's an annual that doesn't have to tie to any specific book. So. They added a thread of adding Lady Mastermind and visiting the Xavier Institute in Westchester, which, yeah.
Not entirely
but
sure.
But it had nothing to do with Nightcrawler.
Not entirely sure when they just abandoned the Institute and just kind of left it to rot. Because essentially it's what they did. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me why there wasn't some sort of
because it's part of the
force field.
They don't care.
Whatever. So for me, I've got Black Panther #22. So the Panther has been essentially he's been kind of in limbo. He's been fighting other versions of Black Panther, versions of himself, versions of Black Panthers from eons ago, trying to justify his own existence and why he should be the Black Panther. And he does it here. And what he does is, in doing so, he gives everyone their memories back. All the people that had been slaves, all the people that had been hurt and tortured, and their minds had been taken away. In the end, he gives them all their memories back. And it drives people crazy because they're finally remembering who their families were, what happened to them, how they were tortured. This is a pretty deep book, but it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sex Criminals 28.
God. What the hell
now we know who Badal is and why he's doing what he's doing. And the ironic part of this is he has the ability to travel forward in time when he achieves orgasm.
Well... Not just achieving orgasm.
Well, time stops for John and Sue.
Right.
And so for others, different things happen. One guy becomes a crazy, squiddy thing. And Badal, when he manages... The deeper his climax, the further forward in time he's able to visit. And so he's able to make a fortune very quickly. He's able to adapt technology very quickly. And... The ironic thing that happened is at some point in time when he traveled, he saw Susie.
He saw her, and he thinks she's God.
Right. But the version of her that he saw is the version he was talking to then.
Exactly.
So probably next issue.
Yeah.
she's going to have the conversation with past him.
Well, what he does too is he's got this amazing this machinery that essentially increases the orgasm system. I mean, and it basically and here's the thing too is I don't know how you want to have an orgasm, but he likes to essentially torture people. I mean, the more cruel
sadist.
He's a sadist, and the more horrible he is, the more horrible he makes someone else feel, the bigger his orgasm. And it's just like it's been
the more he enjoys it.
The more he enjoys it, that's the greater the climax. It's just
he's a bit of a sociopath.
Yeah, very much so. So, good book. I mean, really fantastic. But
we've got 3 more issues, maybe 4 with some of the specials. I don't know, but we're nearing
there's
the
31
end.
altogether, and that includes issue 69. So we have
and there's the Sexual Gary special.
And, there's going to be some interesting stuff. So I have On the Stump number 2. I literally just thought this was going to be a fun, kind of silly book like Shirtless Bear Fighter. I was incorrect. Essentially, this is an alternate history post-Civil War. Essentially, yes, we won the Civil War. We settled things. Lincoln was a very powerful president. And he does free the slaves, but at the same time, they have all these rules they set up. So it's a socioeconomic thing rather than a black-white thing. Essentially, if you don't have money, you can't get education. You can't learn how to read. Well, the blacksmiths is this group that appears that what they originally were doing is they were teaching black people, the freed slaves, how to read. And they were helping kind of get them out of poverty. Well, now the blacksmiths are kind of vote for everybody. They go for everybody. It doesn't matter who socioeconomically they are. And they're trying to stop the corruption that is so deeply ingrained that these wrestlers, these fighters, they're senators, they're intelligent people, but at the same time, they want money and power. And this is a very deep, very, very good book. I mean, I've been really impressed with the art, but the story has gotten much better than I thought it was going to be. This is not goofy like I thought it was going to be.
Battle Pug.
It is not. It isn't like I thought it was going to be. So I'm shifting gears a little bit and saying, please, if you are in any way curious about an alternate history, this is a very good book. So I'm pretty happy with it. Lucy Clare Redemption. If you like werewolves, it's a pretty great book. Essentially, Lucy Clare. You know that she's lost her kids. You know that she's basically kind of like lost her will to fight the werewolves. She thought she'd killed them all. She was wrong. What you then find out toward the end is she's been healed by essentially the spirit of her grandmother. She's been healed, and she comes back, and they're kind of having a conversation about going back in and fighting, and these in Bristol, these werewolves appear, but they're not typical werewolves. These actually have the ability to kind of turn into mists and smoke. What you find is her ex-husband is one of these werewolves. Now he wants her back, but he also wants to torture her, and they want to try to find out where the kids are. So this has been a deep, really good book. I'm sorry that I don't get anything more for a while because it's pretty awesome. Philadelphia, number 5. Vampires again. Love vampires. What you're finding is some of the vampires they're not all with President Adams. They're not all there with him. They kind of want to do their own thing. They want to live their own lives. They have people that left behind that they want to help. And one of them actually has the book of the vampire, which all these arcane spells that he's not supposed to have. That basically Adams didn't trust his wife with. He's like, I don't trust her with this book. You keep the book. You keep it safe. And of course, the kid does exactly what he's not supposed to do. He reads it and understands the story. This is how they're going to take the vampires down. But essentially, the vampires, they go on a killing spree in Philadelphia. And they actually wind up killing about a third of the population of Philadelphia in one night. So it's insane. And of course, they blame it on terrorists. It's like, and the one of the reporters is like, terrorists will rip your throat out and drink all your blood. What are we calling this now? I mean, this is a pretty great book. I'm sad there's only going to be one more issue, but, been good stuff. What you got?
Crowded, number 12.
Yay. It's not the end, right?
No. Far from. So, Vita is the bodyguard. She has the Defender contract to stop Charlie with the Reaper contract from being killed. Basically, if you've not followed along with me talking about Crowded up until now, the idea is that you can raise money, and if you hit a certain point, a Reaper agent will kill the person that you started the campaign on.
Right.
Kickstarter murder, basically. Throughout the last 12 issues, you've been trying to figure out what the hell Charlie did to raise a I think now $3 million bounty. And Vita, who is this disgraced Secret Service agent, hired on to protect her. And Charlie has absolutely screwed... Yeah, the dog. There's a dog.
The dog, okay.
Whose name is Dog.
Name is Dog. Nice.
He's actually one of the stars of the show. Along the way, 2 or 3 issues ago, they finally hooked up. Vita, obviously a lesbian from the beginning. Charlie, maybe not. But yeah, they hook up. And in this issue, I thought it was going to be a dog issue because a lot of the beginning of it were rehashing panels and what the dog was doing while they were doing things. And the dog's kind of... You feel sorry for him all the way because he just kind of gets drug around. But they're in a silo that Vita had a friend there that she had infiltrated this cult and arrested the dad. And then you find out that the girl, Ophelia, actually set them up. And nothing that what Vita thought was going on. And so Vita captures him and is going to keep him there and force them to do advertisement for the silo because they're famous and basically make them tons of money because she's hired on to sell guns and a pyramid scheme.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm exhausted right now, but it's awesome.
That's a lot.
They leave there. They go to a kid's parents' house that Charlie was tutoring in college and just crash these people's house. And Vita realizes, oh, God, we left the dog behind. And so Vita arms up and is going to leave. And Charlie's like, no, if you leave me, we're done. I want to talk. I want us to be together. I want to talk about what this means after this is over. And basically, Vita cares about the dog, so she goes back anyway, thinking she can fix things with Charlie. So she jumps in this huge truck and trucks back to the silo. And when she gets there, she's got a bazooka and is about to blow the silo up to get the dog back. And Ophelia comes out and is like, no, here's your dog. Everything's good. I'm so sorry. And they have this very touching moment where you show what a great person Vita is. And she's like, I don't hate you. I want to help you still. Here's my card. Call me if you need me. And she hurries back. And on the way back to try to get back to Charlie, she finds out her Defender contract has been canceled. Her payment has been declined, so Charlie clearly doesn't have the money to pay her anyway. And the last scene of the book is Charlie crawling in a car with this assassin named Circe, who actually is on the Reaper campaign to kill her, but Circe also wants to kill Vita, who she has no reason to want to kill. So it's absolutely a fantastic read. It's one of my favorite books. They have a perfectly dysfunctional relationship. I totally get it. I love it. Then I have Analog.
Yeah, I didn't get to read Analog.
Analog number 10.
Is it a finale, or could there be more?
Well, I mean, there could be more. It does do the 4 years later thing in the end.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, guys, this is one that it's a Jerry Dugan book. You should be reading it every page through. Jack has been hired.
How is he our new favorite writer? I mean, really, what?
Because he's freaking amazing.
But I mean, where did he come from? It's like, dude. So from Analog was the first thing I think I read from him. Mm-hmm. But then Dead Eyes, Dead Rabbit, whatever you want to call, of course, the Marauders. I mean, he literally has been a phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like where he is just it's very fresh writing, very smart, great stories, and I love the Analog so far.
So in the last issue, which it's been several months since we read, he was trying to get this AI to a rocket ship at like Cape Canaveral. Yeah. Only I think maybe it was at Houston. And the guy who docks to the internet was trying to stop him with his rogue AI. And basically he manages to get there. The guy's beating him up. They've captured him, and he used a set of triplets to get the AI to the base. Jack ends up getting free, beating the other guy up, locking him in a chair. They get the AI on board the ship. once the AI is on board the ship, the old AI comes crashing down next to the guy, and he goes to check on Sam, Uncle Sam, who is
Uncle
a
Sam.
woman.
Yeah.
And she's shot. His partner's there with her. They launch the rocket with the AI into space, and it sends back a message on an old dot matrix printer that basically is a goodbye note. And in the taking off of the rocket, the exhaust hits the guy that docks the internet and just kills him. And his partner, who is clearly his lover, steals Sam's ID and gets them out of there. And then it flashes to 4 years later when a package arrives for him, and the last line of the letter said, "If you had the power of Oppenheimer, would you have the courage to use it?" And into his hand drops a USB drive, which you assume has the AI on it. So very, very cool.
With the AI, would he go back? Would he go back to how things were before it was unleashed? I mean,
who knows?
Interesting.
The AI could have fixed all of mankind's problems, and because mankind is so self-obsessed, it chose not to.
Wow.
So
the AI itself chose not to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a run. You had one earlier, so I guess they'll have to deal with us taking turns.
Turnabout's
TMNT Jenica number 2. Yeah. She's been running around with Silas, who is a mutant rat, who was her old partner that caused her to end up in jail. And you find out that the guy who was with them that killed a guy has a lead on a cure, and Cy is absolutely a douchebag, and so Jenica kind of doesn't trust him and ends up going along with him anyway. And it was a good story. I'm not in love with those. TMNT 104, on the other hand, absolutely wonderful. It's all about the guys finally coming back together, and I really think Jenica, who's calling herself the big sis, and maybe she is, because they were turtles and then mutated into teenagers,
right.
Therefore teenage mutant. She's a 20-something, so she's a little older than they are.
And she mutated into a turtle.
So
she was not a teenager when she mutated.
Right, so she's kind of their bigger sister, and Donatello's come into the mutant city. He's there helping out with the little lizard chick that Jenica runs around with, and Alapex. And Raph is sitting around outside. Donnie and Raph make up, and Jenica comes in. So now Raph, Donnie, and Jenica are all together, and they agree to go back to the farm at Northampton, where they find Mikey and Leo. Mm-hmm. And it was a huge emotional thing where Mikey's cat had run away. And so as the guys reunite, the cat shows back up. And they all go grab their masks off of Splinter's grave. And as they are, there's the human ninja guy watching them and smiling. And you just know it's Yoshi. You know it's Hamato Yoshi. There's no question in my mind that's who that is. But it absolutely blew me away. It is a very emotional issue. It is...
Why Hamato Yoshi?
Well, because he died. You know, Splinter. They killed Splinter. But in the issue... Oh, and then they're going to a metal concert. So there's all the masks around the marker of his grave. Who dat?
Ooh.
That's Hamato Yoshi. That is a human version.
So Splinter is alive.
I don't know.
In human form?
I don't know. Are him and Tang Chen back? I mean, is it possible we have a human version of them? And if the guys die, are they going to transubstantiate into a human form too? Yes, the little mutant kids are freaking adorable, and the albino white turtle is no doubt going to end up being little sister.
Nice.
And they name her in this issue. I'd have to look. I forgot what her name was, but... Absolutely wonderful. But yeah, they're setting up for a metal show. No way the metal show will go wrong. I mean, obviously, the next issue is just going to be a concert. Now, I will say the cover art for the next one, the lead singer is a pig, and it looks so much like Unnatural, Mirka Andolfo's pig. I was so happy.
That's cool.
So, you've got one.
This is Dying Easy number 4, the Joe Hill book.
Yep.
So, Holmes, Detective Holmes, now comedian Holmes, essentially just trying to run for his life. He's been accused of murder. He's trying to figure out who the hell did this. He knows it wasn't these two kids in the Jeep who basically now are under arrest. He goes to the kid's home. One of the kids' homes trying to like search his stuff, and of course the mom is there and like, you want me to help you find out my kids did it? He's like, no, your kids didn't do it. I want you to help me find out who did. Goes to his ex-wife, and of course she's not there. The kids aren't there. Starts searching through things he can't find, and finally he figures out what's going on. He tracks down the people that were there after he left, after these two kids left, and he finally, at the end, he figures out who did it. Now, issue 5 is going to be going to go confront the person who did commit the murder. So, been a really good book, and of course, Hill's an amazing writer. So, at the end of the DC run for me,
yeah, you know that thing where it's like, I'm going to talk for 3 issues, you're going to talk for 3 issues.
Suicide Squad number 4. Now, what's interesting about this run? Of course, this is Tom Taylor. It's deceased.
I didn't know Tom Taylor was writing Suicide Squad. I probably would be reading it.
So it's actually really good. So what you essentially find out is these characters, these Australian kind of misfits that Task Force X essentially captured and took in, were trying to be captured because they want to take down Locke, the person that's in charge of Task Force X. Essentially,
do they spell Locke with an E?
L-O-K.
Oh.
Or Locke, however you want to do it.
Well, I mean, if it's Deathlock, then it's Locke.
So, it's not Deathlock. But what they've been trying to do is they've been trying to figure out been trying to figure out how to take him down. Where Deathstroke is like, Deadshot, excuse me. Deadshot's like, I'm not doing this mission with you. No. He said, fine. I'll tell you what, you get another year in prison. So what? He said, your daughter, she's growing up pretty fast, right? Do you ever want to see her again? It's pretty rough. Harley actually joins them after she finds out what's really going on, and essentially they've essentially done this on purpose to try to take Task Force X down, because they're all kind of like, we really miss Amanda Waller. Yeah, we miss Waller.
Wow.
She was our killer. She was our psychopath, but no one else is, just ours. And so they're tracking down Captain Boomerang at this point. So good book. I'm kind of anxious to see what happens next. Legion of Superheroes number 5. It's been a good run so far. Bendis has done a good job. I didn't think anyone could take over for Legion. What's funny is you get a little more of a backstory as how Legion forms this time, because Legion's always formed differently in different universes, right? But in this one, you find out something very interesting. Basically, let's see. Hey, don't worry, we can't see this. Most cannot. When Earth broke into pieces, so did its already rebooted and revised history and timeline. Earth could not be more important to us and our survival, and yet it's still all broken. To be translated, interpreted, misinterpreted, like those poor Watchmen. Exactly. And Brainiac, in there, then goes on to say that they have to recruit John Kent because he is the most powerful Superman of all time. Yeah, interesting.
He's the superiest Superman.
Yeah, essentially, there's something deeper going on in the DC universe that people aren't talking about.
Here's the thing that I have a problem with, by the way. How young is Barbara Gordon in this?
Are you talking about the YA books that are out?
Here's my problem with this. How did Barbara end up in a wheelchair?
Oh, I don't know.
Joker shot her.
This is the Oracle Code. This is one of those new YA books that's out now.
Joker shot her after he raped her.
Right.
That young a Barbara, that becomes a whole different level of magnitude of bad.
Yeah, so we don't really know. I haven't read these books yet, I'll be honest.
Actually, he shot her and then raped her. But anyway.
Yeah.
Because he shoots her at the door.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's those are a little dark, but the reality is it's very popular.
Weird for that to be a YA book, and them down aging her in the wheelchair.
My guess is she's 17 or 18 in the book.
She looks like she's about 13.
That's my guess.
Hey man, what the hell's going on with The Last God book 6, man, or chapter 6?
No clue.
Yeah, I don't either. Guys, all I can say to you on this is if you like swords and sorcery, this is really, really, in the moment of reading the actual issue, I love it. I couldn't explain this to you if I tried, other than the ferryman king, who is also an elf, all of that good stuff. She dies and becomes one of the flower things. And yeah, I need a source book. That's the only way I can explain it. You got anything to add to that?
No, because it's really confusing. I've enjoyed every second of reading these books, but at the end, I'm going to have to go back and get all 12 issues and go back and reread them to see if they all connect and how they all connect. Because it's at one point you're in the past, one point you're in the future, and you're not entirely sure which one's which.
Oh, I hate it.
It's like
I'd like to buy extra copies of them and like cut them apart and put them in order chronologically, and read all the past stuff and then all the future stuff. Like, I want a director's cut of this in chronological order, because it's a convoluted, huge storyline. Because the elves are ferrymen, and they're Elva, and they're this, and they're that, and Galahad, and Kinslayer.
I will say this: at
Kinslayer.
the end of the book, you see this really cool map. I mean, and
and it has the chronological travels of what's going on in this book.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It is confusing.
It's well written,
and they tell you where the black stare is.
So much.
So Philip Kennedy, he must have been thinking about this book for a long time.
If there's anyone out there besides Philip Kennedy Johnson, not that I would object to Philip Kennedy Johnson explaining it all, that'd be awesome. But if any of you guys really have done a deep analysis on this and you understand The Last God and you can break it down for us up to this point, or maybe to the ending 6 months from now, please let us know, because I'm going to have to read this 3 times and take notes. The Flash 752, I said I was going to do a Flash explanation. This issue, Flash has been caught in what appears to be the afterlife.
Right.
And he was killed by Paradox. You meet Paradox in Flash 88. That is, as far as I know, Paradox's first appearance. And the reason that is important is that it paints the Flash from Paradox's point of view as this hapless hero. While he's racing around and doing these incredible speeds that he's doing, people are actually getting caught in his wake and pulled into the Speed Force and dropped in other realities. Yeah, I know, it makes him he's a villain at that point. Like, there's nothing good about Barry. Like, Barry's just a dick. So
does he know he's doing it?
He doesn't know he's doing it. He's completely unaware. So the guy who was Paradox gets pulled out of reality when Flash is fighting the turtle from the future.
Yeah.
And while he's there,
the Still Force guy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
While he's there, the powers of the realm that he's caught in are basically eating everyone's life force, and there's bunches of people there, tons of skeletons where people have died, all because of Barry Allen. And so this guy manages to build a suit that allows him to harness the power of the place and escape and come out and face the Flash. When he comes out, though, he comes out in the 25th century, and Eobard Thawne just kicks his ass.
Of course, because it's Thawne.
Because it's Thawne. You don't mess with Thawne.
Nope.
You say Wally's the greatest Flash, and I'm like, I don't know. I think Thawne may actually be.
Wally's the fastest man alive. Didn't say greatest Flash.
Thawne is crazy.
Barry's the greatest Flash. Wally's the fastest man alive. Period. Yeah.
So, which is funny, because every issue somewhere there's 2 things mentioned. Every issue of Flash. Somewhere they talk about Flashpoint. Every single issue.
Every single one, yeah.
And somewhere he says, I'm the fastest man alive.
No, he's wrong.
And
it's Wally.
So
and now Wally's Dr. Manhattan.
In issue 752, or in issue 751, Paradox just blasts Flash and appears to kill him. Shreds him, right?
Yep.
Well, no. He banishes him to this realm where he was caught. So what does Flash do? He jumps on this realm, races around it, builds himself an armor that prevents the place from draining him, and then rebuilds the cosmic treadmill, and is going to run to the future to go talk to Thawne.
Nice.
Anytime there's Thawne involved, I'm down. I love it. Far Sector time.
Far Sector number 5. So we knew she had been working as with the police department in New York City. What we didn't know is her backstory from being a kid all the way to kind of right before she's granted the powers. You find out that she lives very poor, She's always seen this deep racism because she of course, she's African American, but her parents are always like, you know what, we get through it, it's okay, and they don't hold anything against anybody. So as she grows up, she is given a choice: a full ride to Princeton or military. She's military. Military gives her some great service. It gives her what she's looking for, some stability. Then she goes to school. After she gets out of school, she becomes a police officer. And this whole time, you see her progression. And it's her last day being a cop. She's at the bar. Her white partner has just beat up a black kid, telling him to stop resisting while he's beating him with his gun. And she's reported her partner. So now she's stuck. She's like, I don't have a career anymore. So this bald, purple-faced person comes to her. This woman says, hey, you should come join me. And you can tell right away it's a guardian. It is clearly a guardian that is saying, we should talk. But it's one of these new guardians that, one of these young new guardians that essentially is trying an experiment on her. Gives her the ring. Doesn't really sure how to use the ring, but gives it to her anyway. And so that's the beginning of her story. So why
they teach that in the police academy? It's fine. Steve Guttenberg comes along with his ring, and he's like, "This is what we do." Man, he would be a great Hal Jordan.
That would be a great Hal Jordan. It'd be a lot of fun.
Steve Guttenberg, Hal Jordan. I'm in.
He's a little old now, but
no, he's not.
Yeah,
because Hal Jordan's feeble.
Anyway, so yeah, this is kind of where we are. I'm very excited for this. And then of course you have
Detective Comics 1021.
Great book.
Dude, this is all about the cult of Two-Face, and Bat's basically running through and talking to all of the coroner and all this, that, and the other, trying to track down Two-Face. He ends up under the courthouse, and he steps in and opens the doors, and here's the black and white cult of Two-Face, and Two-Face is behind him and shoots him like 50 times. It's so great. Just as Two-Face just unloads both guns on him. I mean, he's got Kevlar, but at the same time,
it's still gonna hurt.
Seeing him take 45 shells at functionally point blank range to the face and chest, ow. Also, I don't know why no one ever hits him here. Because
are you that bad a shot?
I felt like I'm a good enough shot from the distance that Harvey was shooting. I just shoot him in the grill a lot. I mean, that's clearly not armored. Of course, that would be the end of Batman. But
so apparently, this has gotten some really good.
This is why they won't let me write Detective Comics.
10,
Harvey shoots him in the face 50 times.
1020 have been very, very popular. This is the kind of rise of Detective Comics again. It's been pretty good. The next one,
Tomasi.
Oh.
Okay, so the end of Batman Curse of the White Knight. I want to start at the end. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really want to start at the end.
Okay, but, I mean, it is obvious that Bruce will take down Azrael. It's clear and obvious.
But he's going to kill him.
Jean-Paul Valley will take it down. Right, it's obvious.
But he's going to kill him.
He's going to kill him. He uses guns in this one. Come on, man. He uses
he gets out with an M16.
It's like, I mean, it's like this is not the Bruce Wayne we've ever seen before, ever gonna see before.
This is the broken bat, man.
This is the broken bat. So it's gonna be tough.
Sorry guys, we're a little distracted. We're about to do an interview that we're really excited about, so we're kind of waiting for that to happen, and so we may get a little sidetracked in these last couple of issues.
But having said that,
last couple, Jesus Christ, you got like 6 over there.
Yeah, it's not that bad. So, but having said that, this was extremely well done, and my favorite is at the end. Bruce is.
I love that Azrael has all of his gear and all of his gadgets, and Batman shows up with 2 rapiers, and Azrael's like, I have this and this and this. Do you really think I'm going to come down to a sword fight?
I thought you were a man of honor.
And he's like, in one line, Batman's like, I thought you were a man of honor. And he's like, well played. And then they sword fight.
Fine. And of course, Bruce wins. I mean, it takes a lot.
Slashes his throat.
Yep.
But
doesn't let him die.
Doesn't let him die.
Right. So, what's funny is that Bruce turns himself in. He's trying to. They're taking him to jail, and of course, Harley tries to break him out.
Which was so
it was
sweet.
adorable. And he's like, honey, I love you too, but you can't do this. I have to go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, fine. She draws this heart on the. Anyway,
I do think Harley and Bruce are the natural romance.
Yeah.
I like Harley and Bruce better than I like Bat and Cat.
Yeah. This is a good series. And of course, who comes in? So at the end, he's got a visitor at his cell, and it's this guy in military gear, and you're like, "What's going on?" Then you realize you see the Todd. Like, oh.
Well, and he says, "We both know that no cell in the world can keep you here. You can get out. You will have thought your way out of anything." And Bruce is like, "Yeah, that's why I brought you in."
So clearly, we have a new Batman.
A Jason Todd Batman! Yes!
So I'm like...
Sean Murphy,
you beautiful genius.
You are
you
wonderful.
Have literally thought of everything. So I love you, man. I can't wait for more.
I think that Jason Todd is the perfect answer to Batman.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be the Thomas Wayne Batman. He's gonna be Batman with 245s. He is going to be rock out Batman, and he's going to keep Bruce in jail. And then Jason's going to go too far. Jason's going to do his thing, and he's going to go too far. He's going to like execute a couple of people,
and then
Bruce is going to break out and go stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it you just call things like that? So you can't just don't call things. Just
I'm totally fine calling that. That's wonderful. Batman Beyond number 42. This is the throwdown fight where Terry, thank you. You're not reading it. You saved me on that one. Terry and Elena Grayson take out Blight, who knows that Bruce is Batman, that knows McGinnis now is Batman Beyond, doesn't know who Elena is, and the last thing that you see in this book is, all right, so who's going to be Batman Beyond now? Is it going to be Elena or is it going to be Terry?
Why can't there be two Bats?
I think there should be, and I think what we get out of that is a redesign that Elena will get her own suit.
There needs to be a partnership.
There absolutely is going to be a partnership.
I mean, I'm not
and
saying
it's going
Batman
to be
and Robin.
Good.
I'm not saying Batman and Robin. There just needs to be a partnership.
Yeah.
Almost like a husband and wife kind of thing. I think it'd be great.
And they could be because they're not related.
Basketball Heads number 6. This is pretty fantastic. So this poor kid, she's essentially been tortured all because her boyfriend turned state's evidence and became a federal agent. Essentially is what's happened. And so they made the mistake of leaving her alone for a few minutes with these talking heads and with these heads that are talking. She escapes, chops off another head. So, I mean, this is... and if she finally finds her boyfriend on a boat, he's not dead yet, and she tries to rescue him, and of course now she's about to be thrown overboard. Been a great story. Thanks so much, Joe Hill. You've been fantastic.
So you've got Dark Horse before we get to
Dark Horse. Hidden Society number 2. This has been pretty great. So this wizarding world has been around for thousands of years. What you find out is there's these 3 nihilists that don't want the wizards to basically to keep peace. They want to have anarchy essentially, and so they whisper into the ears of these other wizards and basically hurt them to the point where they're gone. Great book. I can't wait for to read more of this one.
Oh my God. Once and Future number 7.
So Galahad.
Hold on.
Wait.
Gran and Duncan aren't cool.
They're not talking.
He is pissed at her.
Yep.
And he's running around doing what Percival does.
Right, well, so he still has to talk to Gran from time to time to understand how to defeat certain things, like pixies or fairies or whatever. Right. He still has to figure out how to do that. And so his girlfriend, they're still together. She's still helping him, but at the same time, there's probably a 6-month gap. You think?
I don't know.
There's a
gap. There's certainly a gap.
There's certainly a few months gap in there.
And then Galahad.
So Galahad is with Arthur, and Galahad's like, Arthur's like, now I need a knight, and Galahad says, I'm your knight. I'm the one for you. And he says,
not yet. You're not.
Yeah, no, you're not. But okay, you think you are. And then puts him on the throne of...
Siege Perilous.
The Siege Perilous. Basically the throne of skulls. Or the throne of bodies. And it then warps and twists him into this demonic creature. And so basically, and this is his brother, essentially, right?
It's his brother.
It's his brother. Okay.
Galahad and Percy are brothers.
Okay, so making sure I got it right. So that's his actual brother. Now, what they do is they can predict by using these pins that are made of iron where the next attack is going to be. So,
Well, she can.
Yeah,
girlfriend.
because she's got kind of the gift, and so they go to the museum to go stop him from getting a mace.
No, it's an Egyptian.
The Egyptian, yeah, that's
an Egyptian artifact.
Yeah, and so the problem is the Egyptian artifact really wasn't. It wasn't meant to be. That wasn't what they were going after. But Gran does come in.
But Galahad comes in and is basically kicking the shit out of Percival.
And Gran comes in
and she puts up a line.
Puts up a metal line and chops the horse's legs and his legs off.
And then he's pulled back into the nether realm or whatever it is.
And then Galahad gets away. But what they don't know is that, and they figure out, is that they really were going after a book.
Right.
The book was to summon...
Elaine was using the book to summon Beowulf. What Beowulf has to do with anything, I don't know, but it is brilliant.
I love it.
Kieran Gillian, you are wonderful.
So you're going to take some amazing folklore, and then you're going to add more amazing folklore to it. So, yeah.
So my question is we know Elaine is working for Merlin. Mm-hmm. Is Merlin going to set up a Beowulf versus Arthur fight? Or is Beowulf going to join with Arthur and both of them try to take out Percival? I mean, it's so good.
Last two for me. Folklords, number 5. This is the end of the run. Mm-hmm. What you find is that the librarians are actually these people from this mythical place, but the head librarian is actually a human who has been writing the history, who's been writing things down, and basically he's come over from the human world into their world, and essentially he's immortal here because essentially he is in his storybook. Well, the one knight who's been helping them, the one with the one eyepiece out, he's actually an immortal too. He's a human as well, who has been trying to kill this guy for a long time. So they essentially they wind up taking him out. And they free the kids, basically, to go on their quest. This is hopefully just the beginning. Because really, issue 5, I know there's only 5 issues here, but there's got to be more to this story. Because this is an amazing story. I can't wait for Matt Kent to do more. What a great book.
And we're going to end on Aftershocks God Killers. So, Abdul Al-Hazred is the folklore expert. He is a Muslim-American folklorist.
Yep.
And he has... run through this special ops group, and he identifies this vampiric creature of Islamic origin that is basically feeding upon ISIS. And as they're dealing with that, you find out that the rest of the special ops group want to use her as a weapon.
Yeah.
And they torture an insurgent, and while they're torturing the insurgent, he turns into a genie.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it's really, 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 it's deep, it's dense. It was the first thing I read this week, and I was like, oh, I kind of wish I'd saved that toward the end, but I loved it.
Anyone who does anything Cthulhu related, anything mythical creature wise, this is the book for you.
It modernizes the Cthulhu verse in a very profound way. Yeah. And yeah. And
you try to explain this to people, and they go, "Oh, Cthulhu." I'm like, "Oh no, it's more than so much more than that. It's so much deeper than that."
It is a modernization of it, and it's soldiers in Cthulhu, which I don't think we've done. So, what's your book of the week, man? I think there's 3 possibilities, and I just pulled mine to the side.
I'm gonna go Once and Future number 7.
Okay,
that's hands down. That's my favorite.
I gotta take Batman: Curse of the White Knight number 8.
I'm okay with that too, because that's what I was gonna do, but I'm gonna let you do Batman. Because I'm as excited about each of these.
I almost had to throw XMen number 9 in there because it really was just
just
it's a great read.
Brew eating is like, but yeah, I was hungry.
You need to jot them down.
You were hungry? Yeah. All right. So, what do you think? Now that we're at this pause point, which has never happened, I believe, in the comic book universe, where there's been no new releases for a second week. What do you think? What is your favorite? So, what would you want to do?
We're going to do the previous episode and announce what we're going to do. We spent a lot of time talking.
Well, I'm talking to the viewers, talking to the listeners.
Oh, what do you want to see us do? I don't care what you want to see us do. We're going to do an awesome thing, and y'all are going to like it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, what would your favorite be if not for the ones we picked?
No, I mean, I picked my favorite.
What would they pick as their favorite? I'm saying
They're going to appreciate what we're doing.
okay. Anyway, so
You can engage them if you want to, but then if we don't do what they want us to do...
Engaging right now, Celia?
You can engage them if you want to, but if we don't do them what they want us to do, then what was the point of the engagement in the first place? I mean, I think we have to go back to our poll and do the special that we promised to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. But the thing that we came up with, I think, is going to be really good, and I think it's going to fill the gap. It also may be a really good jumping on point for some people.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're going to probably have just about enough time to do the previews episode before our interview.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go record that really quick.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll see you all soon.
Okay,
Thanks.
love you. Bye. Ow, God, do you hear me popping and cracking when I'm standing up? Jesus, I'm getting old.
It's like you're almost 40.